All right, everybody, this is a guided walkthrough for the Stackler challenge, which is on EchoCTF, the EchoCTF platform in their CTF beginners network. All right, let's go ahead and start the challenge. Okay, so it says here, can you guess the random word? So it says this system generates a 20-character random word each time, so guessing it is quite hard. Still, there is a way to force your way around and get access to the flag that can be found on the same folder as the challenge. So it says to start the challenge, connect with netcat. Okay, so this command over here, your timer starts from the first time you connect to the service. So to start the challenge, we're going to grab this command over here with netcat, and it says there's a 20-character random word each time. So when we access the challenge here, it's going to say, guess the word I'm thinking of, and you win a shell. So the characters that it uses for the password, they're random. And each time we do it, it's a different word that we have to guess. So we're not going to be getting it done this way, but the name of the challenge kind of gives us an indication what we're supposed to do. So it's called Stackler, and that reminds me of stack buffer overflows. Let's talk a little bit more about it over here. Okay, so we're doing buffer overflow in this challenge. The program seems to be looking for some sort of password, but each time the app is run, the password seems to be different. So one time it's this, another time it's this. So if you send a bunch of A characters as input, the password variable that is being compared will be overwritten, and it appears that the ID command is being run. So if we just give a bunch of A's as the input to the program, so we can do it like this. So we're just going to echo out a bunch of A characters here, and we're going to pipe it into the netcat program over here to access the challenge. So if we're not sending enough A's, we can always just increase the number of characters that we're sending in the application. Okay, so if we send like a bunch of A's, it's I think it's 64 A's in this case, if you're wondering. But in this case, it doesn't really matter if you're very precise when you're doing this, because as soon as you get beyond a certain point, the A characters here overwrite the password that is being checked for, and then when you succeed, it runs a system command for you. So it runs the ID command here. It tells us that we're the root user. That's pretty handy, but let's talk a little bit more about this. So since the program is using OS commands, okay, so if you send a bunch of A characters as input, the password variable that is being compared will be overwritten, and it appears that the ID command is being run. So typically on Linux systems, if you run the ID command, it's going to give you something that looks kind of like this. And here it tells us that we're running as the root user. So since the program is using OS commands, we can attempt OS command injection with this payload. So after all of our A's, we're just going to terminate the command here, and then we're going to run whatever command we want to. So in this case, let's go back. Okay, so at the end of our payload, the bunch of A's, we're going to terminate the command with the semicolon, and we're going to ask, who am I? So we already know we're running as root. And it looks like it didn't run the who am I command. I think to get this working, we just need to supply a few more A's. Okay, MI not found. So it looks like it's now trying to run this part of the who am I command, which means that we haven't successfully overwritten everything. I think we need to send 4 more characters to get the whole who am I command. So we're just going to 1, 2, 3, 4, run it again. Okay, so now we're able to run the who am I command, and it says we're running as the root user. All right, so what can we do with this? So the output from the app confirms that we can run OS commands. So we can use this payload over here to establish a reverse shell connection from our client machine. So we're just going to give this reverse shell command to the application to get a reverse shell on the target. Yeah, we're going to be checking the flag locations in a little bit. So before we do this, what we need to do on our client machine is we need to set up a netcat listener. So the netcat listener over here, we're just going to run it with RL wrap, but you can just use a regular old netcat shell if you don't have RL wrap installed. So with this command, we set up a listener with netcat on our attacker machine, which is listening on port 443. What we need to do is we need to get our IP address. So you can use the IPA command to get that IP address. Okay, so here it says that my internet address is this on the ton0 interface, which is the one that we're accessing via OpenVPN. So I'm just going to copy this, and we're going to put this in our payload. What's our payload again? This is the payload over here. So if to anybody who doesn't know, this is what is known as the netcat. Oh, what is this called again? The netcat named pipes. The netcat named pipes reverse shell payload. And what we need to do is we just need to plug in our IP address and the port. So it's got to be the same port number that we did for the netcat listener. So in this case, it's port 443, and we started up our netcat listener on port 443. So what we're going to do is we're going to run the same command on the target here, but instead of who am I, we're just going to plug in our reverse shell payload over here. So when we run this command, the terminal is actually not going to return properly, but what we're going to see if we go over to our netcat listener is that we received a reverse shell connection. So we ask who am I, we are the root user, and this is exactly what we want. From here, what we need to do is we need to hunt for some flags. So from here, we just need to hunt down the flags. For this machine, they're located in the above locations. So we're not going to be submitting the flags because I've already submitted all the flags for this challenge, but I'm just going to illustrate where the flags are. So the first one, there's one in the EchoCTF directory here. So immediately in the current directory, there's a flag over here. So this is the flag. The next flag is in the etc shadow file over here. So if we take a look at etc shadow, and we can look at it because we're currently running as the root user, we're going to see another flag in the shadow file. So the next flag is in the password file. We're going to take a look at etc password. So it's got this funny spelling. Just keep in mind that it's PASSWD without the O and the R. Okay, so this is the third flag. The fourth flag is inside the root directory itself. So we just need to move into the root directory with the cd command. And this is flag number 4 inside the root directory. So the last flag is going to be in the environment variable. So on a Linux terminal, you can get a bunch of different environment variables by typing in the command env. And in this case, there is an ETSCTF flag variable, and this is the last flag for the challenge. So I'm just gonna copy this and submit this just to show that these flags are legitimate. Okay, we're gonna paste in the flag. We're gonna try to submit it. And it says it was claimed before because it was. Okay, so everybody, this was a guided walkthrough for the Stackler challenge from the EchoCTF platform as part of their CTF Beginners network. If you enjoyed this guided walkthrough, please click on the like and subscribe buttons on the video and leave a comment underneath the video. But until next time, HackerFrogs out!
Hey there, HackerFrogs! Are you enjoying this workshop? Learning new concepts and skills? If so, there's a way you can support the channel, and it's totally free. Just click on the subscribe button below the video. Also, click on the like button. And if you have questions or comments on this workshop, please leave them below the video. Thanks for listening. And now, back to our scheduled programming.